Hello and welcome back to my channel, and this is a History Police video where I review two different clips but about the same historical person. It's about Mary Boleyn, and it's a portrayal in the show The Tudors. It's one clip and I'm gonna discuss what really works, what actually happened, and if I believe that Thomas Boleyn would have said the things he said. We know that I think that Thomas Boleyn in that show is probably one of the worst portrayal, if not the worst portrayal of Thomas Boleyn. The second clip is a clip of Mary Boleyn with Thomas Cromwell in Warfall. And I would argue that these two portrayals and representations of Mary Boleyn are highly problematic for so many reasons, but mostly because I think they like to show the kind of what we know really about Mary, and they just show her as this kind of, in one instance, as someone very careless and naive, and in the other way, like someone that could be completely stupid. I really don't like these two portrayals of Mary Boleyn, but if I had to choose between the two, which one is the best, I will tell you at the end of this video to tell and ask you for your opinion. But first, let's watch the first clip. So on the Tudors. So the scene is about Anne Boleyn is with her father Thomas, and her sister arrives at court. And for once, the show has followed more or less the timeline and what we know of history. So that's quite interesting.
My lady, your sister has come.
So she just arrives out of the blue.
Sister? Mary! Your Majesty. You are with child. How has it happened? We knew nothing.
So that is true. First of all, Mary Boleyn her first marriage was in 1520 to 1528 to William Carey. And her second marriage is to this man named William Stafford. And the marriage was discovered, indeed, in 1534 when Anne is queen. And it's not really approved, and it is discovered because Mary Boleyn became pregnant. It is believed that in October 1532, Mary went with Anne and Henry when they went to France to meet with Francis I. And so there she would have met someone who's basically an Essex Londoner's youngest son, William Stafford. And Stafford was actually a soldier, and he didn't have lots of income, and it is believed that it was actually a love match between the two. And all of this is going to be quite well portrayed in that scene. But what I don't like is that though it is kind of historically accurate in terms of, yes, they found out when she was pregnant, she found out about marriage, they were not happy about it. I really dislike the way she's portrayed in it, the way she's such a victim, and how Thomas Boleyn is going to react to her.
I'm married.
Married? So, who is your husband?
His name is Mr. William Stafford.
I haven't heard of him. Is he at court?
William is a man of little standing and no fortune. He's now a serving soldier in Calais.
So they're obviously very disappointed with her.
Then you think him worthy to be the husband of the Queen of England's sister?
Yes, Father, since I love him and...
You are very much mistaken.
Here it's just this kind of dynamic. It's like she brought shame to the family. And though she should have asked for permission to marry, there's this kind of like, what I really dislike is kind of like despise and this kind of like anger from Thomas Boleyn that I really find appalling, the way he's going to treat her, and her, like, she's like, yes, it's all about love, and she's just so kind of, looks a bit naive, as if she hadn't as if she would not have known that they would have reacted like this. I think it's just making her look a bit stupid. She writes, "Hello, I'm pregnant," as if she, as if it how they would have found out, and as if she was that stupid that she didn't know that it would have created problems. So I don't think that it's the way it would have actually happened and occurred. And here it's just to make, again, Thomas Boleyn such as a villain in the show, to prove that he has no kind of care for his daughters, and that he's just a very bad father. And I think it's quite very much unfair.
You married him in secret, and without asking our approval. He is such a nothing. We could never have given our permission.
Father, if you were to meet him, you would see that he is a good, fine, honest man.
Since you acted brazenly and in spite of me, Mary, I shall cut off your allowance. You and your fine, honest young man can rot in hell.
Rot in hell. Rot in hell. It's literally in the script. It's what they made the actor say to his daughter.
Anne, how easy do you think it was for me to find a proper husband when I was called the great prostitute? Indeed, I think myself fortunate to have found William and to be loved by him.
Again, this whole thing that she's, the whore from France, that she slept with Francis I, she never did. That is so bloody ridiculous. Like, as if, we're making her this woman who is not deserving of love, is not deserving of a good marriage prospect. I think she just fell in love with that man. And so here, like, the way she's pleading, it's a bit ridiculous. I'm so lucky that he loves me because everyone calls me the whore or prostitute. It doesn't make any sense here, and it's such a bad portrayal of Mary Boleyn.
You did not ask my permission.
Do I have to ask your permission to fall in love?
Yes! Now we are royalty. Everything is different.
Yeah, it is quite bad.
Please. Please. Sister. Yeah.
No. No. You and your husband are banished from court.
It's just the way they made, like, Anne also, obviously Mary Boleyn and her husband are going to be banished from court, but it's the scene, like, the things that it makes it a bit more viable is the fact that it was hard for Anne. It just shows Anne a bit more in a human way. But I just don't like the way Mary Boleyn is absolutely portrayed here. Or the way they made, like, do you really think she would have come and say, "Hello, I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby, just, please don't be upset with me." That is such a ridiculous portrayal of Mary Boleyn. But there's another one that is quite bad as well, if I say so myself. It's actually very painful to watch. So that one is Mary Boleyn in Warfall Season 1. Oh my gosh, it is so painful to watch. Are you ready?
How it's you. I like your grey velvet.
Okay, first of all, why is she touching him? I like your grey velvet. What?
Where did you get it?
I mean, that's like kind of the worst script you can have. Where do you get it? H&M? Mark and Spencer? I'm sorry, I just found it so stupid.
Can you get me some? It's It's been so long since I had new clothes. If you're waiting for her, I should warn you, she's in a temper. Nothing happens quickly enough for Anne. You'd think she'd be happy. You know, when the king first turned his attention to her, he thought, knowing how things are done in France, that she might accept a certain position at court.
So here we're talking about the fact that Anne should have accepted to be a mistress because at Francis the court, like, he had mistresses. That's exactly the reason why she didn't accept. So again, that's a very bad script here for Mary Boleyn, because she knew that even though he had this mistress and the Pistolet, like, that was so important, you know, Duchesse d'Étampes, you know, very, very important in France, she was never considered the queen. She was not the queen. She was not the one beloved by the people.
But that wasn't enough for Anne. You know what she said to me? She said, "This isn't France and I'm not a fool like you, Mary."
This isn't France and I'm not a fool like you, Mary. What a bad script again. It is such a bad portrayal of Mary. Because she's just so outrageous here. She's criticizing Anne with Thomas Cromwell. Do you really think that would have happened? We're just playing them against one another. We just constantly, like, even in The Other Boleyn Girl, you have this kind of rivalry between these two women, these two sisters, when actually it's not really grounded in any historical evidence. So it's highly frustrating to see, again, Mary Boleyn being portrayed as someone, you know, so childish. In both cases, she's so childish, she's so naive. She has this rivalry with her sister. Though I have to say that in the Tudors, they do give a bit more of this kind of sisterly love in some ways. Because as I said, like, we saw Anne not being very comfortable saying that she was banished. She did it, but she's not very, in the show, like we saw, that she's not very comfortable doing it. And I like it because it shows that there was a link and there was a love between the two sisters. Overall, these two representations of Mary Boleyn are, in my opinion, very wrong. I think that we need to stop pretending that this woman was just this kind of naive, weak, a bit stupid, like touching Cromwell. Why she would have done that? Why would she have spoke to him that way? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I know it's historical fiction, but here we try, because we have so little evidence, and yeah, so little evidence of Mary Boleyn, who she was, what happened to her and everything. I think that we have an opportunity here to make someone a bit more intelligent, a bit more spicy, a bit more interesting than this kind of naive, stupid woman who's just, you know, talking about her sister and how her sister is not nice or how she's treated. So I think these two portrayals are highly problematic. However, I have to say, and I would say that I do have a favorite if I have to choose between those two, is obviously the one in the Tudors. Yes, mostly because of kind of like trying to make the two sisters not as rivals, in that scene at least, and not as, you know, with a bad relationship, though Anne Boleyn is still banishing Mary Boleyn, which you can understand, because, like, marrying someone without the approval of the head of family, Thomas Boleyn, but he's so outrageous in that show, and of Anne Boleyn, who's Queen of England, it has political repercussions. Everything that family members do have some repercussions. When Thomas Boleyn said, "We're royalty now," he has a point, and it shows that they can't just do whatever they want. There are some things to take into consideration. But overall, these two portrayals are highly problematic and not great, and I just wish that we were given a bit more justice to the real Mary Boleyn. Let me know in the comments what you think of these two portrayals of Mary Boleyn, and who is your favorite one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!